eHarmony for job seekers and businesses. Join us on Dollars and Cents. Hello, my name is Jerry Mays. I'm the Economic Developer for the City of Deltona. Today we have with us Robin King, President and CEO of CareerSource Flagler Volusia. Robin, welcome to
Thank you.
Deltona today.
Thanks, Jerry. Appreciate it.
All right.
Glad to be here.
Robin, I've worked with CareerSource on several major projects with the city. We've had job fairs. We've done in the past done a survey for our citizens, coming back with information. Got a lot of good help from CareerSource. Okay, at that time it was Workforce Florida. What is the mission of CareerSource Flagler Volusia? What is it that you do in the communities?
The simple answer to that is match job seekers up with businesses seeking talent.
All right.
So that eHarmony that you had referred to, it's really finding the best match for the skill set, the culture that businesses are seeking from job seekers in the area. It sounds like it might be kind of cookie cutter, but it's not. It really is. We are as personalized as we can get. Now, last year we served over 30,000 people seeking employment.
30,000.
30,000. So they came through our doors, either our physical doors or electronic. So we have 3 career centers, one of which is in Orange City. We have one in Daytona Beach, and then we're Flagler Volusia, so we have one in Palm Coast. We also have our services are available. Some of our services are available electronically, and so some people just come directly through our website and just see us that way. The individuals who come through our doors, they're all seeking employment. Some of them already have a job. They're just looking for a better job.
Better job, okay.
About 30% of who we serve, they're looking because there's a number of individuals who are underemployed in our area, and they're looking for.
Explain underemployed to our audience.
My definition of underemployed is someone who is not using the skill sets that they really have. During the recession, we had a number of people who were laid off through no fault of their own, and found other income, but it wasn't the same kind of job. So I'm not talking about the wage or anything like that, but someone who is a higher level, but they did something for income maintenance so they didn't lose their house. I mean, you saw how many foreclosures we had during that time. But they were able to get something to keep money in. So that's an underemployed person, someone who's not using their full potential.
Okay.
So we serve unemployed, underemployed, and matching them up with the businesses who are seeking specific skill sets and talent to hire.
Okay, please share with us, if you would, what kind of services, are available for someone seeking employment. Specifically, what when they come in through your doors or go onto the website, what specifically can they look forward to dealing with at CareerSource?
So we serve everyone who walks through the door. The majority of our job seekers at any given time have some college degrees, or some college. We have people with associate's degrees, bachelor's degrees, master's. We have some people with doctorates. So it depends on what they need as far as which service we're going to match them up with. The most used services we have are our workshops on how to use our services, because that's one thing. It can be a little overwhelming when you've lost your job, and so how do you navigate through this new system? And so we have workshops to tell them how to use our statewide database, how to use our services, what services we have. So that's one. There are a lot of people who might not have looked for a job for a very long time. They don't know what a new resume looks like.
Yeah, okay.
That 10-page resume that might have gotten you that job 20 years ago isn't going to do it. A one-page, eye-catching, and it's not eye-catching because it's on a certain color paper anymore, because most resumes are submitted electronically. And it's not using, really off-the-wall fonts either. It's something that's professional, highlight your skill sets, and especially for an individual who's not had a job in a while and they want to figure out how to put that on a resume, we help with that.
Okay.
For first-time job entrants, we really work with them on that soft skill piece. What does it mean to actually not just get the job, but to keep the job? We work with, we have youth programs that work with that, as well as some other programs that's first time, someone who's never been in the workforce. They don't know maybe that if the child is sick at home, you just don't stay home and not call. You call in and you say, this is what's going on, and how to get along with coworkers, how to deal with conflict at work.
Yeah, well, those are skills, people skills that sometimes have to be learned if you've not been into the
Right.
workforce. You mentioned a moment ago about, a lot of the job seekers that come in have some college or associate degrees. What about the person with the high school degree or the GED, something like that, or even, let's say, less than that? What can you do for those folks?
So if someone really is at that level where they don't have skills to compete in the workforce, that's when we really kick in with training.
Okay.
That is where the bulk of our funds go to, is skills training for individuals. We do training in a variety of different ways. The most traditional that people know us for is paying for classroom training. We will pay the tuition and books for a training in a demand occupation at an area school that has proven that it has a good placement rate, that they're going to help people get that job when it's done. So we don't do training in something that is not shown by the labor market to have any kind of a need here. And we also don't do training in occupations where there might be an oversupply of people already looking for that job.
Right.
If there's more than 10 people for every job opening that we're going to have, then we don't invest in that. We don't want that person to invest all that time in something and then come out on the other end and there not be a job available.
Exactly.
So we do training through classroom training. The program that we've just started last October is called Experience Pays. And Experience Pays is going to, what I was talking about, that resume that might have a gap on it. So someone might have the skills to compete in the workforce, but they have not been employed recently.
Okay.
And it's something that is a barrier to getting into employment, because businesses think if you really want a job, you'd have a job. Well,
Right.
there is a group that, especially during the height of the recession, that were unlucky enough, and that's really what the studies say, unlucky enough, that they couldn't turn around and get something else. So what we're doing is being their employer and getting them out into internships. And that internship can be at any area business that will help teach them, upgrade their skills or get them new skills. And just refresh their resume and kind of getting them back out on the workforce.
And get them back into the habit of working too if they've been out
That's
for
true.
a while.
Like I said, we just started that in October. So far, it seems to be very successful. We have over 50 people that are employed at a variety of businesses across the two-county area that they're employed again, which means they're now exposed. The majority of people who get jobs already have a job.
Right.
90% of new hires were taken from someplace else. So to be able to get that person in that position, because the next company doesn't need to know that, this is an Experience Pays program. They're working because they're working. They're earning a wage, and it's also been an opportunity for us to kind of show off the type of talent coming through our centers to businesses. We're inviting businesses to be part of the vetting process before they go out. We do panel interviews. So the individual has gone through a 2-week, very intensive program that they have interviewed on video, and then they watch the video to see, because like if I did it, I'd see I'm talking with my hands too much, or if somebody twitches, or if they're slouching, or whatever their issue might be.
Whatever negative thing they're doing that shows up, and they can sit and work on
Then
it.
their resume is really tweaked up. And I mean that in a good way, that it's going to make them shine. Resumes, businesses use to weed people out. As soon as you see the
Right.
one thing, you go, nope, don't want that. And you just keep moving on. We have them interact with each other so that they're supporting each other coming through this as well. There isn't a single business that wants to hear a job seeker come in and say, I'll do anything. No, they want a job seeker who wants to work for them. They've done their homework. They know what they want to do for them, and so we go through that entire process with them. And after that 2-week program, they go through a panel interview. So we have one at a time. They come in, and there can be anywhere from 5 to, I think the most we've had in a room is 12 businesses, and ask questions, give them feedback. And again, you've heard the term practice makes perfect.
Sure.
Nah. Perfect practice
Makes
makes
perfect.
perfect. So this is their opportunity to, not after the video interviews, which actually that wasn't one of the first things that we had in there. We put that in later after we're like, you need more practice before you get to this part of it, right? But we've had some phenomenal people coming through there, and just to watch them grow in confidence, which is what they need, so that when they are in front of that business, they remember the skills that they have to bring, and that they don't have to be desperate for that job.
Right. And somebody who's lost a job is just deflated to the point that, you can see the desperation oftentimes like that. So you've got to get them past that. And when people do come to CareerSource, who's eligible? I mean, who can walk through the doors and get CareerSource assistance?
The basic services I talked about, like the workshops and helping with that job search, and everyone is eligible for that. They don't even have to necessarily be residents of the 2-county area we serve. If we have somebody who's looking for a job that's coming in from out of state electronically, they can still use those services. When it gets into the training, it depends on how much funds we have. That sometimes we have to put a most in need policy in place. But we look at income, and then we also look at previous work experience. Were they laid off in their last job through no fault of their own? Do they really have a skill set that they can compete with? And sometimes they might just need a class or two. They don't need a full degree to be able to compete. They just need to upgrade some skills. So that's on a one-to-one, and again, there's a workshop that they could come to that would really kind of explain that. The youth programs that we have, that actually is about to change. We have some new funds that are going to be coming in with some new guidance, new rules. But we serve at-risk youth who have already dropped out of high school.
Okay.
So we work really closely with the schools to find out who they may be. We have a program here in Deltona specifically for those high school dropouts for whatever the reason was that they dropped out, but they also have other significant barriers to success.
Right.
And our job isn't just to get them a job and then say you're on your own. It's to bridge them into post-secondary education. We'll get their GED first if need be, and then move on from that.
Bravo.
So,
okay, now we said the eHarmony, okay, for job seekers and businesses. So far, we've talked job seekers. What do you have in CareerSource for the business side? What's our business community looking for?
they're just looking for talent.
There you go.
And when I look at those two, businesses are our primary customer. When we have local, healthy businesses that are thriving, then they're hiring.
Exactly.
And so we've got that cycle that's what we want to see. For businesses, we help them recruit, hire, and retain. That's kind of the three categories of that. It also helps the job seeker as well for each of those, because once that person has gotten their foot in the door, they want to be able to keep their skill sets up as well. So it's for both sides. But for a business, when we recently had a job fair for a new company that's coming into the area, and so we did a job fair, and we did the outreach piece for that, and got everyone through the doors and making sure that they were going there that they had the skill set, they had on their resume what the business was looking for.
Right.
So that's the recruitment piece of it. We do job postings, so we don't have to do a big job fair. If a company's just hiring one, we have a statewide database that's online, so anyone again can see it. We post their job orders up there, and they can recruit from that way as well. And again, I didn't mention it earlier, the services we have for our job seekers and our businesses are no cost. We are federally funded, and everyone's kind of paid in already through their taxes, so this is the way we get to pay them back.
Yeah. If somebody's unemployed, it would be a burden for them to have to pay to get a job.
Right.
Okay. By the same token, businesses look at it right now as business. In other words, this is a cost for my business. Maybe I can get it without having to pay for.
Certainly,
get an employee.
there are a lot of online databases businesses pay to be part of. They can put that in hours at no cost.
Big talent pool. Okay, that's good.
We do the recruitment, the hiring. We do on-the-job training, where we pay half the wage of new hires. And that is, again, for that eligibility piece on the job seeker side, but that's for any job. It's full-time, and it's paying at least $10 an hour, but we offset that upfront cost that businesses have of hiring new people, because that's what's most expensive, right?
Okay.
And that can be for a month, 2 months, 3 months, depends on the level of the hire, the skill set. The retaining part is that we share the cost of upgrading the skills of your existing workforce. So if Jerry needs to go to training for economic development, that we would share the cost of your employer to do that. And it might be that the business pays your wage while you're in the training, and then we actually pay for the training. So that's something in Deltona. Kathy Burley and Bill O'Connor are our business service reps, and they would sit down with any of our businesses, and fully describe that.
That's most interesting. OJT, on-the-job training.
On-the-job training.
Okay, that's one. You said you had two.
Well, the customized training then is the retention part afterwards.
The retention, okay.
Where we share the cost of training there.
All right.
Taking out the trash. It's a regular chore, just like mowing the yard and washing the car. And just like yard work and car care, we do it because we want to keep our homes and our yards clean and attractive. The same with trash, keeping it clean. When you put the trash in a garbage bag and you put it in the bin, it keeps it neat. When you bag it in the bin, it keeps the trash from blowing around when it's emptied into the Waste Pro truck. Once the trash has been collected and the bin is empty, make sure you store it in the right place, which will be along the side of the house, behind the front elevation. Together we can do this, Deltona. Trash, it goes in the bin.
Workforce is one of the things that I really, really delve into. And I mean, to have a workforce that will attract a business to come to the city is something I'm always striving to help develop. Okay. Right now, the city of Deltona, these are not my figures. This is a third-party figure. It comes from Volusia County Department of Economic Development. The city of Deltona has a workforce of 47,000 people. Sometimes that's a little overwhelming, okay? But to help this many people take a step up, get another certification, get another degree, take an advancement so you can have a better quality of life. A lot of that's education, okay? What's CareerSource partnering right now? What are they doing with the educational institutions here in the county?
Well, we're involved on 3 different levels. The first is early learning.
Okay.
We're strong.
What age is early learning?
Early learning is 0 to 5. It's through pre-K, and it's just making sure that that age group is healthy. That the term that's actually used by the community is Thrive by 5. Our Early Learning Coalition, that is really what they're tasked with, and there's other community partners that are involved with it too, to make sure that the parents have access to good quality. It's not childcare. It's not, maybe when we were, toddlers, it was called babysitting or whatever. But this is about making sure that that child is prepared when they enter kindergarten, that they're going to be able to read and keep up. our communities are rated as to whether or not someone is reading at level when they're in 3rd and 4th grade.
Yeah, I know the Volusia County school system is very, very much, in other words, getting students on grade
Right.
for reading. Yeah.
So unless that child developed a healthy brain and a healthy body
Okay.
by the time they get into pre-K and they're on that path, that's what the Thrive by 5 is about.
Okay.
Then
It makes sense now. I understand. I
Yeah.
was wondering, how this figured into it, but yeah, that makes sense.
right. I mean, there's even programs that we've been kind of looking at as labor market for a 4-year-old. Well, and it sounds kind of like, why would you not let a kid be a kid? But if our kids say they want to grow up to be, a basketball player, or a football player, or a rap star, that might be all they've ever been exposed to on TV, through media. They might know what their parents do. But it's how do we expose what labor looks like, and not labor in the term of child labor. It's just
Different types of jobs.
girls can be engineers, and
exactly.
that kind of thing. So because then that leads into the K through 12, and actually they're starting to refer to it as P through 12 because it includes pre-K now. I mean
Okay.
it's almost become an additional grade, so that they're taking the right courses and they have an idea. So Volusia County Schools has this incredible program with the Career Academies.
Career Academies,
And
okay.
you're familiar with these, that it's an opportunity for our young adults to get certifications before they even graduate. Well, if we start exposing them to those different kinds of careers when they're young, then they might have a better idea, like, I might want to do the finance, or I might want to do the culinary or the manufacturing or whatever that is, if they've had some exposure to it before that even happens, just so that
Exactly.
they're familiar with it. So I've been working with Volusia County Schools on a variety of things. Right now, working with them on trying to bring more opportunities for the kids for work-based learning opportunities. During the recession, we had a lot of adults take those jobs that those kids might have used to do.
Okay, I understand what you're saying.
So there were, really for the first time, we have so many kids that are graduating high school without any kind of work experience. And so we're working with Volusia County Schools to help expand that opportunity. And then we work with a lot of different training vendors in the area. I think we have agreements with over 20. Daytona State College is where most of our job seekers go. They are our community college at heart. They are the ones that are really looking for that workforce development piece. And they held a workforce summit a little over a year ago, I think now, and they've responded. They're going to be doing training in construction over in DeLand at the
That is true.
So we all are listening to what the business community needs and coming together to figure out how it is that we jointly, provide a system that can respond to that.
Okay. A little plug for Bethune-Cookman University here,
Oh,
too,
of course.
which has
Yes.
Okay, they have a campus in our city. So so we have Bethune-Cookman University, Daytona State College, and Volusia School District. Okay, all working together for actually working hard for, as far as I'm concerned, workforce development. Again, looking at the old saying, okay, all honest work is honorable.
Yes,
Okay,
it is.
we still need to have ditches dug and teeth pulled and hair cut and all the other things like that. But we also need the engineers and the doctors and those. Now, talking about the different types of jobs, okay, recently, not giving an exact date or anything like that, but recently I was informed that CareerSource played a part in bringing a new academy to Pine Ridge High School. Talk to us.
Okay. This actually came about, Representative Santiago, David Santiago, was really interested in bringing a manufacturing academy to Pine Ridge. And I was part of a couple of the meetings that they had there and really listened again to what the parents that were there, what they were saying, and what the school was looking for. We just happened to have the opportunity then to apply for an innovation grant that CareerSource Florida had. And what we are doing with that grant is helping purchase some of the curriculum at Volusia County Schools, specifically for Pine Ridge. The other thing that we're doing with that grant is developing a database that, when I was talking about the work-based learning opportunities, we'll be going out to the business community this summer is when it's scheduled, to ask businesses to host internships, whether it's paid or unpaid, job shadowing, mentoring, if they would be willing to come into the classroom and talk. Our business community needs to be part of developing their potential workforce. We need our youth to see that there are some fantastic businesses here, that they don't need to go outside to find some quality, we already have the quality of life here. We have the quality jobs as well.
Yeah. We need more of them, but
yes.
yeah, we do.
Well, and then that's the other thing, is so that economic development can say, you have a continuous pipeline. So when advanced manufacturing, when that's who we're approaching outside the community to come here, I mean, Volusia County has, 450 manufacturers. So the ecosystem for an additional manufacturer to come in, maybe from that supply chain or whatever that is, it's perfect. And then to be able to show them, because I know it's going to be one of the top 3 questions that business asks you is, what's your workforce? To be able to point and say, here's your continuous pipeline, whether it's coming from directly out of the high school or how that connects, because that's the neat thing to watch between Daytona State College and Volusia County Schools, how they have those agreements so that the kids are earning credits that they can take then to Daytona State College and continue their education in that.
Okay. And the dual enrollment. While they're still in high school,
That's
they're
true.
taking college courses, okay, for those certifications also. I was told that the Manufacturing Academy, once it's going through, a child who goes through basically the 3 years of the Manufacturing Academy will graduate from high school with 3 certifications in manufacturing. So that's a huge plus on going out into the market field. Plus, Daytona State College has promised, and they're always good for their promise, that they're going to bring CNC training to their campus here.
Oh,
So
nice. Good.
this is machine tooling. So this is another big thing that will be a major demand for the future, because the city of Deltona is very much wanting to move forward toward a manufacturing base. We've had a lot of good success bringing medical in, and some good partners in that from 2 different large hospital groups.
Yeah.
Okay, but we need to do more, always. Okay, again, all honest work is honorable. Robin, thank you very much for joining us today.
Thank you for having me, Jerry.
It has
Appreciate
been our
it.
pleasure. Thank you very much for joining us today.